we like to kind of ride the Americans for having blown up their own housing market with some pretty crappy underwriting, but they also have some pretty innovative solutions to work around some of the fraud that's emerged since. And one of them is that, for most of the last 20 years, they've had direct income verification so that you cannot falsify your income. And so the question is, like, this is such a simple solution. It's either the regulators view this as such a trivial matter that it's not even worth a modicum of effort, or there's a recognition that, to your point, it's potentially too big a problem. And it's really hard to put those horses back in the barn without affecting resale values of houses. And as we know from this government, they've been pretty explicit that, like, they don't really want to do anything to threaten the equity of homeowners. What I would suggest to you is, if they do bring this in, and I think there will be increasing pressure in coming years to do this, it will represent a credit tightening. It will be significant, and it'll be highly geographically concentrated. People don't want to hear this, right? Because they think that they draw straight lines to, to racial statements or whatever it might be. But there are regions that would be more vulnerable to a correction were this to occur. And by the way, I want to be really clear. This is not a statement of any race, but what I would say is, if you understand mortgage underwriting in this country, you understand that the moment you go from being self-employed to being a verifiable employee, all of a sudden your minimum down payment drops and your interest rate that you pay drops. So there's tremendous incentive to show that you are no longer self-employed, you're now employed at a verifiable company. What that means is, anywhere where you have a prevalence, an overrepresentation of self-employment, there is an enormous incentive to misrepresent the status of your employment.